6 months ago, my sister-in-law Laura died in a tragic accident. She fell down the stairs at her family home. Today, my husband of 1 year, my partner of 4 years, my childhood friend of 20, looked me in the eyes and accused me of murdering her. I remember that terrible morning with perfect clarity. I'd stopped by Laura's house for less than 10 minutes. She was in her pajamas, making coffee. We laughed about some silly reality show we'd both watched. Normal, mundane, the kind of moment you never imagine will be someone's last. When she fell, she hit her head on the windowsill of the half landing. A freak accident. A tragedy. In the days after, Luke started asking strange questions. What exactly were we talking about? Which pajamas was she wearing? Where were we standing in the kitchen? At first, I thought it was just grief, needing to reconstruct those final moments. But then he started accusing me of changing my story, of hiding something. Over what? Whether her pajamas were blue or gray? Whether the coffee machine was brewing when I arrived? It stopped as suddenly as it started. I put it down to grief until last Friday. We were at his parents' house when he turned to me, his face twisted with something I'd never seen before, and said, "We all know you killed her." Just like that, in front of his devastated parents, after the inquest had clearly ruled it an accident. His reasoning? Some messages he claims I saw on his phone, messages that supposedly made me angry enough to confront Laura and push her down those stairs. Here's the thing, I've never looked through his phone. Not once in our entire relationship. And even if I had, what could possibly be in those messages that would drive me to murder someone I loved? Now he's staying with his parents, threatening to go to the police to overturn the inquest. His mother doesn't know what messages he's talking about either. I'm left here, staring at the life we built together, wondering how we got here. I made vows to stand by him. But how do you come back from this? How do you look into the eyes of someone who could believe you're capable of such monstrous things? The man I loved died the moment that accusation left his lips. Part of me worries he's having some kind of breakdown. The rational, loving man I married would never think this way. But another part, a part that terrifies me, wonders if this is who he's always been beneath the surface. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. All I know is that somewhere between for better or worse and till death do us part, there's a line. And accusing your wife of murdering your sister, that's so far past it, I can't even see it anymore.
The pregnancy test in the bathroom trash stopped me dead that morning, the morning of my vasectomy consultation. That bright blue plus sign stared up at me like some sick, cosmic joke. My hands trembled so violently, I almost couldn't hold it. We hadn't been intimate in 4 months, not since our anniversary, when she drank just enough wine to let me touch her for the first time since our youngest was born. I'd been so pathetically grateful I didn't question why she kept her eyes shut the entire time. I placed the test back exactly as I'd found it, canceled my doctor's appointment, and began watching. At first, just small things, the way her phone would suddenly tilt away when I entered the room, how she'd immediately shower after grocery shopping. Then came the gut punch, our 5-year-old mentioning Uncle Mark's special hugs during bath time. My own brother, my fucking best man. The private investigator's photos arrived on a rainy Tuesday. There she was, climbing into his truck at the Target parking lot, his hand creeping up her thigh outside some cheap motel. And the worst part? The timestamp showed she'd left our daughter's ballet recital early to be with him. I waited, let the morning sickness become her little secret, until she was 8 weeks along. Then I served the papers right as her parents walked in for Thanksgiving dinner. "Congratulations," I said, placing the ultrasound photo atop the divorce filings. "Hope Mark enjoys paying child support for 2 families." The custody battle turned vicious until my lawyer produced the motel receipts from her scheduled parenting time. Now I have our kids during the week, she gets every other weekend, and my former brother is drowning in child support for a baby he never wanted. Just last week, my daughter found that positive test while cleaning. "Daddy, what's this?" I took it from her small hands. "Just proof, sweetheart," I said, tossing it back in the trash where it belonged. That not all surprises are good ones. The 2:17 a.m. text notification should have been my first clue. Probably just work, I whispered into the dark, rolling over to stare at the ceiling. When I caught the scent of jasmine and vanilla on his collar the next morning, her perfume, I held my breath and kept folding laundry. But when our 4-year-old looked up from her crayons and asked, "Why does Uncle Jeff pick Mommy up from work now?" That's when my knees gave out. I sank to the kitchen floor, gripping the counter edge until my knuckles turned white. I waited until Thursday, watched her smooth her dress and reapply lipstick for book club. Followed her pale lights 15 miles down Highway 9 to the Sunset Motel. The neon vacancy sign flickered as I parked, our wedding photo still taped to my visor, me grinning like an idiot in my tux, her laughing like she meant it. 3 hours, 7 minutes. That's how long I watched the clock, each tick echoing in the silent car. When the door finally opened, her hair was tousled, her blouse misbuttoned. The flash from my phone camera illuminated them pressed against his Lexus, her fingers tangled in his hair. The divorce papers hit the courthouse before noon. The judge saw everything. Time-stamped photos, motel receipts, even security footage of her handing our daughter to a babysitter while wearing that black dress. The gavel came down hard. Full custody, the house, everything. Last Tuesday, her fist pounded on my door at midnight. "He didn't want," she sobbed, mascara bleeding down her cheeks. I didn't let her finish, just handed her a box of leftover shampoo, half-used perfume, and the earrings I'd given her on our 10th anniversary. "Choices have consequences," I said. The deadbolt clicked louder than I expected. Through the rain-streaked glass, I watched her clutch that cardboard box like it held the life she'd traded for cheap motel sheets. This morning, small fingers tugged my shirt. "Daddy, who was that crying lady?" I flipped a golden pancake, watching the bubbles rise and pop. "Just someone who didn't appreciate what she had, sweetheart." The syrup swirled into perfect amber circles on her plate. Simple, sweet, exactly as childhood should be. Some doors lock forever for a reason. And sometimes, the silence after they close is the most beautiful sound you'll ever hear.
My fiancé and I have been together since high school, since I was 17 and he was 18. For years, everyone told me how lucky I was. "You got the whole package," they'd say. Handsome, kind, funny. And I believed them. That's what makes this betrayal so much worse. My mom and I have always been close. After my dad died when I was little, it was just us against the world. We had this Gilmore Girls dynamic. Best friends first, mother and daughter second. She dated occasionally, but nothing serious, until 4 years ago. I'll never forget the day she told me she was pregnant. At 42, she thought her chance had passed. She had me young, an accident, so I understood her panic. But I stood by her. That's what we do. When my baby brother was born, I helped raise him, changed diapers, woke up for 3 a.m. feedings. My fiancé was right there with me, taking him to the park, teaching him to swim. I thought it was sweet. Then one night, everything shattered. My fiancé was out with friends. My laptop died during a Netflix binge, so I grabbed his iPad. When it lit up, a flood of notifications appeared. His iPad must have been unused for weeks. Against my better judgment, I looked. The messages weren't under my mom's name, but I knew her number by heart. My hands started shaking as I read. "Mom, I can't keep doing this. She deserves to know." Him, "I know, but I can't lose her. We messed up." "Mom, brother deserves to know his father. Can you really live as his brother-in-law forever?" I scrolled up and found photos. My mom pregnant. My brother's first steps. A hidden album documenting his entire life. The room spun. I couldn't breathe. I just sat there sobbing until I heard his key in the door at 11:30. When he saw me holding that iPad, all the color drained from his face. The truth came out in broken pieces. During a girls' trip years ago, they'd had dinner, then drinks, then more. It happened 4 times total. When she got pregnant, they panicked. Instead of coming clean, they made my baby brother their dirty secret. I ripped off my engagement ring that night, told my mom she was dead to me, moved out the next day. The hardest part? My brother. I love him so much it hurts. But now when I look at him, all I see is their betrayal. That innocent little boy is living proof that while I was planning my future with the love of my life, he was already a father, just not with me.